Welcome to anyone joining the live stream on YouTube. Still getting set up and letting folks know in our Zoom waiting room what's going on. You can always go to novasutras.org. Welcome to anyone joining the live events. Stream on YouTube. Still setting up, including still getting set up and letting folks know in our Zoom waiting room what's going on. You can always go to novasutras.org. Including getting the audio set up right and that sort of thing. Oops. Okay.
Hi, Michelle.
Welcome and happy Equinox.
Hi, Michelle.
Hi. Good to have you here. We had Tyler for a moment, and I'm afraid oh, nope. I think he's coming back. Okay. Here we go.
Who's coming back?
Tyler? And Carol and Christine, you two have met at some previous events. Is that right?
Yeah.
2 minutes in a row we met.
Well,
Okay.
we've met in Novasutras meetings like this, and then we were both at the Enbridge protest.
Right.
And I asked your name twice in a
row. Wonderful. Well, happy Equinox.
So, I don't know, discombobulated.
Happy Equinox.
That happens. People forget names immediately. A lot of the time, at least in my experience, that happens.
All right. Well, thank you for joining the event today. We are on a YouTube live stream also, which had been the original tradition. Was just the YouTube live stream, and meeting on Zoom has allowed us to include some more interactive components to this. So the general plan is we'll start with just a few moments of kind of welcome and introduction, see if anyone else joins us on Zoom, and then we'll go into the guided meditation, which is going to focus on the equatorial rainforests. Well, I'll give a little preliminary explaining what's going on with that. We'll go into the guided meditation. And then we'll be open for conversation. And I have a couple of ritual practices and more structured conversation things that we're going to be able to offer. This will go about 2 hours, and we'll take a break at right around the 1 hour point, so that we're not just sitting in front of the cameras the whole time. And yeah, if you have to leave early, just go ahead and drop out when you have to. Okay. So with that, I want to do a very short round of check-ins. So I'm going to invite you to just pause for a moment. Feel what's on your heart and mind at this equinox time. And then just give us a one breath response of something that is a top concern or a top place where your energy is today. So to model that, oh, and also, you know, who you are, where you're calling from. My name's Michelle. I'm in Scotts Valley in the Santa Cruz Mountains of California. And the thing that's top of heart and mind right now is a lot of energy around organizing local movement events. Anyone moved to go next?
Hi, I'm Christine. I'm in Scotts Valley, California. And what's foremost in my heart are the winds of change. Every autumn solstice, a big windstorm comes and just blows all the dead leaves out of the trees. And I'm embracing that as a metaphor for many things. Thank you.
Thanks, Christine.
I'm Carol, and of course we've met before, Christine. You were wearing a mask, so I kept. Anyway, I feel great today. I feel like time is not getting away from me. I still have my regular anxieties, but not as bad. I wonder, I always attribute it to the fact that I had to take painkillers last night and they're hanging on. But maybe not, I don't know. So it's been a great morning. I did the watering.
All right, thanks, Carol. And Tyler, can you unmute and share a little something with us?
Sure, yeah. I feel change in the air too, my friends, and feels like it's coursing through me again as well. So I'm excited to hear that it's not just
Okay. So now I'm going to go into screen share mode and get us set up. So we are doing this event at this particular time because we will actually be in meditation through the precise moment of the equinox when the sun is directly overhead at the equator. This happens twice a year in March and September. And it marks, for those of us outside of the tropics, this big change of seasons. The equinox is one of the days of the year that traditions all around the world recognize and celebrate because this is a truly global phenomenon. Because it's about the relationship of the angle of the Earth's tilt and our orbit around the sun, it's experienced by the whole globe as the one day out of the year where night and day are very close to equal, because the sun is not just a single point, but a large circle in our sky. This equinox is always a little bit brighter, a few more minutes of daylight than nighttime for everyone all around the world. The sun rises due east on this day for everyone all around the world, and just over 12 hours later sets due west for everyone all around the world. And because it marks the transition of the sun from mostly lighting up the northern hemisphere to mostly lighting up the southern hemisphere. It is marked by so many beings as a time of great change, a time for migratory animals to move following the path of the sun, a time for plants to ready themselves for the season that's coming. So this is something that is experienced by all earthlings, and that's why it's such a profound and important time to gather and reflect on our participation in the earth community. And just to give you some visuals that was supposed to go along with that little speech, but that's okay. So this is one of, here, I'll go back here. This is one of 8 celebrations that Novasutras offers every year. We call these our Octal Celebrations, and they are at the equinoxes that mark the start of autumn and spring, and the solstices that mark the start of winter and summer, plus the midpoints in between those two. And again, this is the pattern and the seasons for the northern hemisphere. You reverse that for the southern hemisphere, and that's mostly how they're experienced either north or south of the tropics. Within the tropics, including these equatorial rainforests that we'll be focusing on today, the sun passes overhead twice a year. If you're on the equator, that's on the equinoxes. If you're north or south of the equator, that can be a different day of the year, depending on how far north and south you are. Nonetheless, the closer we get to the equinoxes, the more these equatorial rainforests experience direct sunlight overhead. So that's part of why we've chosen the equinoxes as a day in Novasutras, where we'll focus on the equatorial rainforests. So in just about 10 minutes, a little less, the sun is going to be right overhead in the Pacific Ocean, due west of the Galapagos Islands. And as we move into our meditation, we'll actually focus for a while on that point and feel into that. But the rainforests of the world are concentrated in these bands of the tropics, and especially right along this line of the equator. That includes the Amazon forest, the forests of the Congo Basin in Africa, and the forests of Southeast Asia, especially on the islands of Borneo and Sumatra, what are known as Sundaland. That will usually include Java and the Malay Peninsula. So as we move into our celebration and meditation, we're going to begin with a practice that is the Novasutras version of calling the corners. And in doing that, we use these terms agaya and ubuntu. Agaya is a new word we use in the Novasutras movement, recognizing the incredible co-creative dance that happens with life on Earth. Scientists recognize and express as the Gaia theory the fact that living beings on Earth are co-creating the conditions that allow for ever more complex life to emerge on this planet. And we merge that Gaia term with a term that was very important to early Christianity, agape, that references transcendent universal love. So in Novasutras, we just invite this possibility that all of that vibrant expression of life on Earth is in fact an expression of transcendent universal love. one of the ways that that becomes most apparent is through life's interdependence and interconnection. And one of the best expressions of this comes from the languages of Southern Africa, this word ubuntu, which is all about community, connection, respect, and mutual support. In Buddhism, this is spoken of as interdependent co-arising or interbeing. So in our Calling the Corners practice, again, borrowing a little from Buddhism, rather than trying to bring in energies, we are trying to open ourselves to the sacredness of the space that we are in. And from that sacred space, and from that love, that agaya and ubuntu within us, we send out our wishes of well-being to others. We send out wishes that all beings abide in agaya and ubuntu in the four directions, above and below, and then moving out from where we are in ever-widening circles. So I invite you to do this with me now. And if you like, you can stand up and face the different directions, just turn your head in the different directions, or just feel it internally. But do your best to envision precisely where you are and what is in those different directions and spaces as we move forward. And if you're familiar with this, if you want to say out loud along with me, you're absolutely welcome to do so. So I'll be starting in the south, which is the direction the sun is from me and my friends here in the Santa Cruz area today. May all beings to the south abide in agaya and ubuntu. May all beings to the west abide in agaya and ubuntu. May all beings to the north abide in agaya and ubuntu. May all beings to the east abide in agaya and ubuntu. May all beings above abide in agaya and ubuntu. May all beings below abide in agaya and ubuntu. May each one of us abide in agaya and ubuntu. May all the beings near us abide in agaya and ubuntu. May all beings in each of our watersheds abide in agaya and ubuntu. May all beings in each of our bioregions abide in agaya and ubuntu. May all beings on our continent or island abide in agaya and ubuntu. May all beings in the world's great oceans abide in agaya and ubuntu. And may all beings belonging to Earth's beautiful, beneficent, beloved biosphere abide in agaya and ubuntu. Now I invite you to settle in for a deeper meditation. You can soften your gaze, drop your eyes, or close them if you like, and let your body just settle in and be embraced by the earth beneath you. We are moving into that exact moment where the earth is in the place in its orbit where the sun shines directly at the earth's equator. As we said, that's in the Pacific Ocean, west of the Galapagos Islands, south of Mexico and California. Try to envision that place. Imagine being on a raft in still waters of a vast ocean with the sun directly overhead. No shadows would be cast where you are except directly beneath you. Feel that light and energy from the sun coming into you, moving through you, warming the very core of you. And taking in that amazing energy of the equinox sun. We send out wishes from that place that all beings might abide in agaya and ubuntu. Feel us there together. With this energy of agaya and ubuntu filling us up, shining forth from our heart center. Shining out to all of those touched by the light of the equinox sun. Imagine that light shining around the world to all of those in the dark of night. May all the beings of earth abide in agaya and ubuntu. Let yourself inhale that energy of transcendent love. Catalyze it into a commitment to community and caring as you exhale. Inhaling agaya, awe, wonder, joy. Exhaling ubuntu, loving kindness, respect, dedication, support. Inhaling agaya, exhaling ubuntu. Inhaling agaya, exhaling ubuntu. Inhaling agaya, exhaling ubuntu. And as we feel ourselves supported by this network of loving kindness, by these connections all around the world, we recognize that through the Earth's atmosphere, every breath connects us to the green things that grow all around the world. Every inhale, we take in oxygen that is a gift from our plant kin. The next breath you take may have a molecule of oxygen that was released in the rainforests of Borneo, that was released in the Indian Ocean by some tiny phytoplankton, that was released in the vast grasslands of Africa, that was released in the rich forests of North America's Pacific Northwest. Inhaling and exhaling, we are sharing Earth's beautiful blanket of atmosphere with all her other beings. Let every time you exhale be a gift back to all of those plant kin, that they may take the carbon that you release in your breath and use it to build their own beautiful bodies, so that some of what you breathe out today might become part of a giant redwood. Some of what you breathe out today might become part of a coral bed in the Great Barrier Reef around Australia. Some of your next exhale might be taken out and built into seagrass in the Mediterranean. We are united as beings of this earth on this beautiful equinox day. As that bright equatorial sun shines down, come with me now on a journey through Earth's three green hearts, the great rainforests of the world. Imagine us first moving into the rainforests of Southeast Asia. As we drop into the rainforest of Sumatra, we find ourselves in an incredible place of enormous trees. Each tree, its own ecosystem, its own world, as it carries ferns and vines, orchids and mosses, ants and beetles, birds and monkeys, frogs and snakes. Every tree you see around you is different. So much diversity here, so many different species. Each tree itself a different species. Each tree supporting dozens of species not found on the other trees nearby. And everywhere around you, this vast, energetic cacophony of life, this vibrant profusion of ways to live. The air is rich with the scent of a dozen different kinds of flowers, fruits in all stages of ripeness, from the sharp bitterness of a new fruit to the sweet, boozy decay of something that's fallen to the forest floor. So many scents come up from the soil of the tropics. Mushrooms everywhere. So many different kinds of leaves and flowers falling to the ground every moment. The air is warm and moist, as if you feel you are inside the breath of a vast living lung. Everything connected, permeated. Imagine yourself standing near a lively stream bubbling over the rocks. A clever macaque comes down out of the tree, disturbing a cloud of butterflies that were distributed on the riverbank, tasting the salts left by the water. Calls of joy and welcoming fill the air as monkeys discover a tree filled with tiny red figs. The birds come in, beckoned by this call of abundance. Me, an orangutan, swings into view. And you notice moving through the shrubs and ferns on the forest floor, a tiger watching from below. Enormous, silent grace. Just watching. As we find ourselves in this first of Earth's 3 green hearts, the amazing rainforests of Sundaland, the island of Sumatra. Let us send out wishes that all beings and all peoples of this place might abide in agaya and ubuntu. That the trees, the monkeys, the butterflies, the mushrooms, the tigers, all might abide in agaya and ubuntu. We breathe deeply the rich forest air as we start to move together, traveling west with the sun, across the Indian Ocean, over the Virunga Mountains, and down into the vast basin of the Congo River of Africa. Here again, we are greeted with warm, humid air, filled with the calls of monkeys and birds. Snakes slip amongst the trees, hunting for tree frogs who are chorusing in the rich, warm air. We hear the sounds of a busy village, the native people of the Congo continuing their life ways that have changed and grown through hundreds of thousands of years of humans living in this amazing place. Yet every day, still encountering these opportunities for new experiences, new beauty, new joy and wonder, new things to celebrate and sing about. Feel yourself in the Congo rainforest, encircled by this incredible tapestry of love, interconnection. Ubuntu and agaya. That even as life's dramas unfold, as predators seek prey, as there is competition for those resources that are scarce, there is so much abundance and cooperation here that the struggle and strife seems minuscule by comparison with the vast interbeingness of life in the Congo, with the tremendous beauty and wonder of this place. With its near invincible capacity for regeneration, restoration, and healing. We send wishes that all the beings of the Congo might abide in agaya and ubuntu. That all the people of the Congo Basin might abide in agaya and ubuntu. And that all people all around the world might make choices in agaya and ubuntu that support their continued thriving. Now we travel westward again, down the flow of the mighty Congo River, out to the wide, stormy Atlantic Ocean, following the winds across the ocean that take us to the edge of South America and the mouth of the Amazon River. We begin to move upstream to the thriving, mighty heart of this greatest of Earth's three green hearts, the rainforest of Amazonia. Again, we are greeted with the richness, the vitality of this place. Parrots and marmosets, sloths and tree frogs, and all of the indigenous people who have called the Amazon home for thousands of years. All of the ways that they have found to revere and respect that place, to celebrate its beauty and vitality, to protect and defend it from the threats that might do it harm. Imagine being invited in to celebrate with them, to pledge our support for defending their spectacular, wondrous homelands. We're learning to be good allies as we work together for the thriving of this beautiful rainforest with all of its amazing inhabitants. There are places in the Amazon that hold more diversity in a few acres than thousands of square miles of grasslands in North America, of farms and forests in Europe. Each tree its own world with so many species dedicated just to it. Every stream contributing to the Amazon, its own special, unique, and vibrant place. With all the strength and power of the vast Amazon rainforest, a forest so strong and vibrant that it creates its own weather and shapes the weather for the whole world. Imagine that we are invited in and loved and offered support by this beautiful rainforest. that all of the rainforests of the world, that Earth's three green hearts, are offering us strength to do well in the world, are offering us solace in their continued beauty, are offering us reassurance in their unparalleled capacity for regeneration, renewal, and growth. May all beings of Earth's three green hearts abide in agaya and ubuntu. May the agaya and ubuntu we find in these places spread to all beings all around the world. May we shine the light of agaya and ubuntu from our hearts, from Earth's three green hearts, out from our beautiful little home world to the expanse of the universe. Imagine yourself enriched by the tremendous love and energy of Earth's three green hearts, by the light of that equatorial sun overhead. Channeling that through you and carrying that forward as a gift of agaya and ubuntu to every being you will encounter in this coming season. And that through those connections, agaya and ubuntu will spread all around our beautiful home world, offering comfort to those who suffer, offering wonder to those who gaze in reverence at the living world. Offering joyous community to all of those who work to grow agaya and ubuntu in the world. Feel that well-being moving all through your body, all the way out to the tips of your fingers and toes. And if it's comfortable for you, start to bring a little movement into those toes and fingers, into your hands and feet, into your legs and arms, into your shoulders and hips, your spine and neck. And bring your focus up into your forehead. And when you're ready, very gently open your eyes and let them move around the space that you're in right now until they rest on something beautiful. Let yourself take that in. Maybe it's the shape of a flower or leaf. Maybe it's just a favorite color or the way the light's coming in through your window. Just take that in as a promise of agaya and ubuntu from the world to you. That when you look for it, you can find beauty. And you can remember that you are welcomed into a world of agaya and ubuntu. Thank you for being part of this equinox meditation and part of our celebration together. So I want to open us now as people are ready. If there's anything that's really up for them, if there's anything that they want to share from their experiences during the meditation or anything else that came up. So please feel free, if you're on Zoom here, to just unmute yourself. And I'll be checking for those on the YouTube live stream if anyone wants to leave a comment there.
Hi, can you all hear me?
Yeah, hi Tyler.
Hi, everyone. Yeah, I had a semi-chaotic experience. There was a lot of action around me and I didn't realize there was going to be. But I was able to maintain something like a peaceful mindset through it all, which, yeah, I would say was still to my benefit. So, thank you.
Thanks for sharing, Tyler. Leoma.
I was aware of how you have lived in these three green hearts. I don't know that you've been in the Amazon,
No.
but you've been in, the Congo or, well, whatever it's called now, but that one. And in the Sunda, let's see, which one were you in Borneo?
Sundaland on Sumatra.
Sumatra. And trying to imagine what it would be like to actually be in it, because each system has its own spirit. And I've never know if I've ever really been in a tropical.
Yeah.
That's what would that green heart be like?
Mm.
I know what a green redwood forest heart is like, but what's, yeah. And does each river actually have its own ecosystem?
Yes and no. Every watershed, every river, there's often the differences really tend to be on one bank and the other bank of the river. So for instance, when I was working in Congo, oh, here, I've got Africa right here. So Congo makes this arc through Africa. Right, it crosses the equator twice, coming up and going back down. And it's very much, tropical rainforest with lots of similarities on both sides of the Congo River. But there are also big differences. And one of the big differences is north of the Congo River, you find common chimpanzees, pan troglodytes. South of the Congo River is the only place that you find bonobos, pan paniscus. So they've been separated for around, I should know this better than I do. I think it's 25,000 years. Not a super long time as evolutionary time goes, but long enough to be different species. I may have the scale wrong. Maybe it was more like 200,000 years. No, it's even more than that. I'm sorry. It's 2.5 million years. I really had the scale wrong. Brain working. So as the Congo River took the course roughly that it has now, it was a wide enough river that they could no longer move across. And so you have these tremendous differences on the southern watershed of the Congo versus the northern watershed of the Congo. I know that's true for the chimpanzees that used to be one species and then got split into two. I suspect it's true for a lot of other species as well. Another thing that's true from the great ape perspective is north of the Congo River, you also get gorillas. And south of the Congo River, there are no gorillas.
Just thinking of that being around that long.
Yeah. These are really ancient emergent structures that have been part of Earth since the continents kind of landed in even approximately the shapes and divisions that they're in now. These rainforests along the equator, that is what life does when given land and consistent overhead sunshine that you get on the equator.
Amazing.
Okay, so as I'd said, I've planned this as a full 2-hour event. I did want to give us some time for a little break in the middle. So unless anyone has anything they want to say or add right now, I'm just going to pause and give us about 5 minutes if you need to stretch or grab a bite to eat or something, and then we're going to do some interactive things with the second portion here. So for that, it's going to be helpful if you want to have your mic on and possibly have your screen on if that's workable for you.
Hi.
Oh, go ahead, Carol. Hi.
I wanted to show you the back patio. Do you want to see that? I
Oh,
can
sure.
lift up my camera.
All right.
I'll have to turn on my video.
Yeah.
There we are.
I just want to say real quick, I
Can you
missed
see it?
the 12 to 2 thing and only had enough time for 12 to 1 today.
Okay.
So I have to go. I'm sorry, but thank you, everyone.
Okay.
Okay, bye,
Well, thanks
Tyler.
for being here, Tyler.
Bye. Yeah, of course.
Take
Thank
care.
you. See you next time.
All right. Be well.
Okay, I don't think you can see very much of it.
Little bit. Yeah. You can see that there's a lot of green life out there. It's a little hard to see. The camera's not adjusting well for the light. But thank you for sharing that, Carol.
Well, the chair is in the way of all the roses on the back deck.
Okay.
I think you can see
I
them,
can
but
see
they're
I can see one that's
kind of
probably
indistinct.
probably a
There's
rose
big
there.
one, and then there's
Yeah.
a bunch of pink ones,
Oh,
but
nice.
it's overexposed for those.
Yeah. Oh, wonderful. Well.
It looks way better than this.
Oh, I don't doubt it. I don't doubt it. Oh, thank you for sharing that, Carol.
Yeah, did we lose Christine too?
Yeah, Christine said she had to go. Well, she said she had to go around 12:30, and I think she left around 12:40. So hope she's doing okay. Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, so given that it's just the three of us, we can take as much of a break as we want and then reconvene, I think is fine. Or if we feel like that was enough and we're done, we can stop here. What do you think?
I'd like to share some. I'd like to share what I've been doing.
Okay. Leoma? Oh, you're muted.
I can hang in a little while. I'm not as alert as I am sometimes. But
Okay, well, shall we just sort of continue on for a little bit and then we'll.
I think I need a couple moments break. So then
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, so why don't we, what you think 5 minutes is going to be enough?
we'll see. If I'm back, it is. I'll go try.
All right. Okay, so we'll take a break. We'll come back in roughly 5 minutes and then we'll have some conversation and then maybe just do a little closing.
Yeah.
Okay.
Beautiful meditation, by the way. Thank
Oh,
you.
thank you. And I'm going to, actually, I could have gone ahead and do this, but I guess, yeah, given this for those folks on YouTube, since you can't participate in the participatory things, I'm going to stop the live stream on YouTube, but thank you for watching the meditation. If you've been with us so far, happy equinox, ubuntu and agaya, and Leoma and Carol.